Welcome to Firefighting in Canada this week. I'm Moriah Campbell, and today's edition is brought to you by VFIS of Canada, a division of CVIS Incorporated, Canada's largest insurer of firefighters. This week, The Haven is set to be the first occupational-specific treatment centre for first responders in Ontario. Then, the Government of Canada announced over $9 million in funding to support the creation of an Indigenous Fire Marshal Office. And finally, we'll highlight the September issue of Firefighting in Canada. The Haven, a new mental health therapy house, is set to become the first of its kind in Ontario for first responders. The director and co-founder of The Haven, Michelle Vincent, is a police officer in the York region of Ontario. Vincent says The Haven aims to fill the gaps in the current mental health resources available in the province for first responders.
We've taken on the oath to go out and serve our communities, and as a result, we experience a lot of trauma, things that most people would consider severe trauma on a regular basis, and that's part of our occupation, and we understand that. However, at the end of the day, we need some sort of resource that supports our mental health so that we can go out and serve our communities as best we can, so that we can make sure that we're not a liability to our organization because we're not well.
The Haven was inspired by its Quebec partner, La Vigile. La Vigile is supported by Quebec's provincial police force, Sûreté de Québec. La Vigile Association members can choose to deduct $5 from their pay to have unlimited access to services. Vincent hopes The Haven will function the same way.
I know myself as a police officer, I would have no issue at all with taking $5 off my paycheck in case I ever need that amazing resource.
The Haven is now looking for a location for its first chapter in the Greater Toronto Area. The Government of Canada announced over $9 million in funding to support the creation of an Indigenous Fire Marshal Office. Over the next 3 years, funds will help the newly created IFMO promote fire safety, public education, and regular building inspections in Indigenous communities. A 2004 study by the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation indicated fire incidents in First Nations communities were more than twice that of the rest of Canada. The fatality rate from fires was also more prevalent in Indigenous communities, at more than 10 times greater than national average. The funding will support Indigenous partners in next steps, including how the office will be structured, its mandate, and any associated legislation. An Indigenous Advisory Committee is also being established to support the IFMO project to help develop these roles and responsibilities. In the September issue of Firefighting in Canada, Blue Line magazine editor Renée Francoeur interviewed 3 York Region first responders about their newly implemented tri-service approach to major emergency incidents. In October 2018, the key stakeholders agreed to introduce enhanced interdepartmental training to promote effective response during mass casualty criminal incidents. Also in this issue, David Mosley shares his story of grief in the fire hall. Jason Coblin wraps up the 2019 trade season, and Len Garris shares a study on how smoking materials continue to be a significant cause of fires in Canada. For all these stories and more, check out the September edition of Firefighting in Canada and head to firefightingincanada.com. This is Annex Business Media's Niche TV. Thanks again to VFIS of Canada, a division of CVIS Incorporated, Canada's largest insurer of firefighters. Stay tuned for our next episode on Friday, September 6th.